In this video, I'm going to be fixing and upgrading some of the most overpriced new LEGO Star Wars sets. Starting with this 327 Star Corps Battle Pack, which I quickly put together. First making this dwarf spider droid with the first two clones, before clicking together the oversized AT-AT. With two more of the same clones, and this little turret. Then I finished the legs of the AT-AT and the set was complete. Now this is cool, but for $45 it is crazily overpriced and super inaccurate. So we can start by upgrading the spider droid, adding these two pieces, which rounds off the top, making it look so much better. But then it was time to work on the walker. I completely took this apart and rebuilt it using a design by Bricks. Every model that I build in this video has been linked in the description, and support the builders if you want to buy any of these models for yourselves. This creates a way more accurately scaled little AT-AT, which is way less oversized and closer to scale with the figures. You even have a few pieces left over to make this little barricade and radio, which is pretty cool. Speaking of the figures, I think these customs look way better, especially with the different yellow color. Also, a bit more variety would have added tons of value to the set. I would have added two regular phase 2s, as well as an airborne and recon trooper to man the AT-AT. For me, these small changes would make a huge difference to the accuracy and value of the set, but I think maybe a price of $35 would still be more appropriate. Next, we're going to make some sick upgrades to this Plo Koon's microfighter, because who really likes microfighters? All you need for this is the $15 3-in-1 fighter plane set, which itself is a really cool and unique build. But as they soar about in the sky, they collide in the air and the pieces mix together. Adding this one extra piece for the cockpit, we can now combine the two using instructions by the amazing builder Kodiana Bricks. And wow, this is unbelievably clean, with some amazing angles and the cool dark blue color scheme. The stand looks fantastic and poses at some great angles. It has some engines in the back, smooth cockpit design, and a place for the astromech. But how does this compare to the official LEGO model that we got back in 2010? Well, you can see it looks way smaller and more accurate than the official set. The color scheme in dark blue looks way better in my opinion than the original blue color, and the use of new pieces makes it way more smooth and clean, despite this being an ultimate build, especially with this set totaling around $25, which is pretty affordable. Next, we have the V19 Torrent set, which I quickly built up before taking a second copy, organising all the pieces to build a sick alternate build for a V-Wing by Noppingrad Lego. This has some amazing angles, a cockpit for the awesome Phase 1 pilot, along with a sick display stand with two spots for the other two figures that we find in the set. The wings can be folded up into landing mode, and I made this little front foot using a couple of Technic pieces that we found in the model to make it look a little bit better when it's landed. It looks amazing next to the original model as part of a fleet, and you can see how it scales nicely. Overall, I think this shows what LEGO is really about, using what pieces you have to create alternate builds and designs. Next, we don't have an overpriced set, as this was a gift with purchase, but we're going to be improving it nonetheless. Firstly, I built up the set. These clones are so sick, but the builds are a little odd. This tower is cool and rotates to shoot at the clones, and there's a small barricade for them to hide behind. Finally, there's this little ship to train the clones and improve their piloting. But this model by Second Bricks completely changes the design and makes this slightly bigger ship. And I think this alternate ship is way more useful as something we see across the Star Wars universe. It can be in landed mode or flying mode and has cool engines and nice blasters. As with most alt builds, you can also make this side build with the extra pieces being this little barrier with a turret. The new U-Wing is slightly scaled down, but it's still a pretty great build in my opinion, with 4 sick figures from the Andor show. However, there's one big flaw for me, being the doors. The set has hinged doors which open upwards, however, it should slide side to side to be more accurate. I found this upgrade by Jess Bricks, and in order to build this, we have to tear apart pretty much the entire set and add in a few extra parts to completely redesign the interior and hold the new door mechanism that we're going to be building. I finished by building the new doors themselves, which can clip in and seamlessly open and close in a way more accurate way, and even keep these little windows. There's even more space in the interior now, so I'd highly recommend this build. The figs are cool in this set relating to Andor, but I think it would have been sick to include a couple of more figures so it could be more versatile. I added this pilot for the cockpit. These figures are so underrated and highly detailed. And then I placed a couple more rebels, which can go in the troop bay. The new turbo tank set is one that comes under a lot of criticism for its price and lack of size and stability. So once I built one, I think I'd have to agree that it's very small, but the figures are insane. And the minifigs are going to be what's inspiring this alternate build, which I did with the second copy. I built up the base, which I've got to say was so hard. It was so fiddly, but we got it done and continued the build, creating this incredible UT-80 designed by Brick Horizon. This of course is the vehicle we see in episode 3 with the Galactic Marines and Bakara, and it looks amazing. LEGO have never made this vehicle, so I think this was a massive missed opportunity with the Galactic Marines, and I think less people would have complained when getting a new unique model rather than another turbo tank. The model itself has a cool cockpit to seat a driver, and loads of space to seat Figs. The two cannons on the side are a little delicate, but overall, this is sick. Similarly, the new MTT has come under a huge amount of criticism, but this little upgrade makes it so much better. The set itself is a decent build, it's on the smaller side, and again I think the 327th Figs could be better. Bly in my opinion looks so much better in a different yellow colour. But build wise, the biggest flaw for me was the mechanism to release the droids, mainly being the actual quantity of droids it can carry, as this is literally the biggest droid carrier that we see in Star Wars, and it can only hold 8 droids. So I decided to test out this upgrade by the builder Wustkopf, and if you do this, I would highly recommend building this as you build the MTT, as I had to go back in and tear up the entire build. I did run into a few issues building here, and had to keep testing and trying it to get it back together, but I did it in the end, and now we have space for twice as many battle droids. I'd say the mechanism releasing the droids works most of the time, but it does catch a little bit. But when it works, it's amazing, and looks so much cooler with this quantity of droids. It did take a small number of extra pieces, as well as of course the extra droids, and I think if these were included, it would be way more fitting for that price tag. Now we're finishing with this incredible UCS Slave 1, and I'll be simultaneously building the mini version to compare it to. Building the UCS one is such a throwback for me, as the Boba Fett version was the first UCS set I ever built, and this is such an upgrade. Building the smaller one afterwards felt so funny, but I've got to say it is pretty cool too. The UCS version has incredible angles with some amazing features and a gorgeous design, taking a lot of things from the old model and improving them. The cockpit can now hold up to 5 figures, and there's this sick thermal detonator in the back. The smaller one does have thermal detonators as well, and this cool feature to deploy them, but they're obviously less detailed. But what are we going to do to upgrade this? Well, I don't think the build itself needs to be touched, but the stand is a little boring. So instead of buying an acrylic display case for this, I decided to build this amazing display stand to hold the setup by Alvin Experts. I went all out and ordered a bunch of pieces for this, and started by building this round, semicircular design with the border that wraps around it, with these curved and sloped pieces to create the design from Camino. This looks sick with the lights on the inside, but there's a gap in the middle for an important reason. I then built this panel that can be clipped in to complete the pattern, and finished the landing pad looking really smooth. I think if this set included an Obi-Wan from the Starfighter set, it would have been sick, as the scene would have been more complete. However, of course, you can see the set is still standing behind the mock, as the original stand doesn't clip in here, but that's where it gets really cool, as you have the option to build either a stand for the Jango or Boba Slave 1 to fit in here, and of course I built the one for the new version, which then clips in using these Technic pieces to mount the stand and really complete the model. The smaller version can also look sick lying down on this mock, so it can definitely look great with both models. There's even an upgraded version combining 2 of these half circles, which you can build if you're really looking to make the ultimate display. But let me know what you think of these awesome models that I tested out in this video. Go check out Whatnot and enter the giveaways to be in with a chance of winning the UCS Death Star, the Venator, and some sick other sets. And of course, remember to sign up so you can get your free £10 or $15 to spend on Whatnot. Again, all the links to the builds and designers that I showcased in this video will be in the description for you to check out. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Goodbye.